3 points. Myth, partnership, and path. Myth, partnership, and path. The summation of the homily. The summation, the conclusion. Bodily delights are more accessible and common. However, narrow the path to spiritual delights. And because this road is much less traveled, yet their satisfaction and fulfillment far exceed anything the body will ever experience. Focus on this second week in Advent on the spiritual life. This is my assumption by you being present here. We're trying to cultivate a deeper interior life where we experience far greater joys. The myth. You heard what the good holy deacon read. In the 15th year of the reign of Tiberius Caesar, when Pontius Pilate was governor, when Herod was tetrarch, when Philip was tetrarch of this region, when Abilene was the tetrarch of that region, when the high priest was Ananias and Caiaphas. How can this be a myth? Let me tell you how a myth starts. Far away, a long time ago. Thank you. Someone's getting this. Once upon a time. That's a myth. How can this be a myth? Don't you think when this was written, there were people around who said, wait a minute, my Uncle Joe is the head of that district. My cousin Vinny runs that I can't say outfit, that area over there. Somebody would have called them out. This wouldn't have stood. That's a lie. That's not true. I'm not the pastor. Father Evan's the pastor. I don't go around telling people I'm the pastor. I'm the associate pastor. I might fool someone who's a visitor, but this would have been found out. It's not a myth. That's my huge and main point on this. It's a real time and a real place. It's real history. This is real history. We didn't make this up. This is real. This is our story. This is not meant to get a big head. We are the chosen people of God. God chose the Jews. Jesus was a Jew. His mother was a Jew. They fulfilled the Old Covenant in the Old Testament and the New Covenant in the New Testament. That's us. We're real people in a real time, meeting in a real place, about to experience the high point of our Christian religion, the real presence. Jesus was a real man, and he was really God. These are facts. This is historically certain. The Jews believed him to be a prophet, but not the Messiah. The Muslims believed him to be a prophet. The Jews thought he was a bad prophet. The Muslims thought he was a good prophet. Atheists can care less. They don't believe in God at all. And here's even what's sadder about all that. One more category. More and more people, they don't even believe in prophecy. They don't believe that God speaks through his people. They don't believe that God is with us. That should really concern you. Of all the groups I mentioned, and it's proven by statistics. When people sign up for, you have religious affiliation, NA, call them the nuns. Not the nuns, the religious sisters. Thank you. But it's true, and it's sad. But this is not a myth. Here's the myth. Pleasure is the supreme good. Sensuality will satisfy your soul. Those are myths. Disobeying God will make you happier. That's a lie. That's not a myth. Lukewarm Catholics, those who disobey laws and don't feel the fullness of the faith, they live more meaningful lives. That's just not true. That's simply not true. As a professional former hedonist, I already found this out. It's not true. It's very bankrupt, and too many people are walking headlong down that path over a cliff. So, myth. It is not a myth. Partnership. St. Paul says this, very well read, as both lectors very well read very well. St. Paul, I pray always with joy in my every prayer for all of you because of your partnership. I want a partnership with the music people. I'm trying to get a partnership over here. That's a private joke before Mass. But we're in partnership. St. Paul, when I pray for you in partnership, I pray for your joy. Hope you pray for my joy. We're in partnership. We're in partnership with, sadly, first and foremost, Adam. whether you like it or not. We've inherited his nature. A fallen nature. We are good, but we are fallen. We are made by God good, but we're weak. We got weakened wills. We got darkened intellects. We're in partnership with Abraham. We're in partnership with Isaac. We're in partnership with Jacob. We're in partnership with Moses. We're in partnership with David. This is our family. We're in partnership with them. We're in partnership with the communion of saints. I can tell you with absolute honesty, I have not yet celebrated a mass without thinking about my deceased brother. Haven't done it. Because I believe in it. I believe in it. We believe in a creed. We have a partnership in the church, in the creed. Very soon, if you are physically able, you're going to stand up. And we're going to say the creed. In the creed, which unites us in a partnership in his blood, what do we say? I believe in the Catholic Church. We believe in one holy, Catholic, apostolic church. I hope you know what you are saying. I hope what you know what we're saying. Because if you are not disabled, and you willfully do not want to say the creed, no disrespect whatsoever. There's other places to worship. This is our partnership with the church. Why are you Roman Catholics? Why do you call yourself Roman Catholics? Because Peter and Paul shed their blood in Rome. And that's the seat of where the Pope lives. And under his tutelage, under his authority, we gather as a body of believers. There were many disciples. There were thousands of disciples. There were 12 apostles. And those 12 apostles passed on an unbroken chain of authority. I share it as a minor clergy member. The bishop shares it as an apostle. And it links us together. So we stand for the creed. National anthem business, we'll talk about it outside of church. Of course I have an opinion. But if you really don't want to stand, if you don't believe it, know what you're saying. Say what you believe, mean what you say. This is what we say, we believe it. We kneel for, if you can't kneel physically, you're unable, don't kneel at the consecration. I don't want you to kneel if you got bad knees. We kneel. Why do we kneel? Because that's what we do. That's what we were told to do, is we do it. Not looking at any other religion, but I had to watch my mother made me watch the George Bush funeral mass, the Episcopalian funeral service, which was great. God bless the Episcopalians. God bless all religious people. God bless all Christians. I will take an on-fire non-Catholic Christian over a lukewarm fall-away Catholic any day of the week. That should be obvious, shouldn't it? You love Jesus, I love Jesus. Let's get along. We got a partnership in Jesus. But I'm not going to apologize that Jesus Christ established one church. And I want you to think about this for 1 second. Suspend any disbelief. If the Christians, together as a body of believers, universal, around the whole world, spoke with one voice. Wow. Wow. We got a civil war going on. Now, for those of you who aren't inside baseball, that's a metaphor for knowing the doctrines of the faith. This is not your bag of tea. But it's important to me. Why? Because I'm not protesting. We're partners. I'm not the boss. You're not the boss. You might be at home. You're not here the boss. God is the boss. The Pope's not even the boss, for heaven's sakes. Literally, for heaven's sakes. God brings us in his partnership. And again, we stand with the saints. It's not just belief, it's also works. When's the last time you visited somebody in a hospital bed? We believe in the spiritual and corporal works of mercy. When's the last time you've been to a jail? Oh, sorry, you have different relatives than me. But last Mass, we had the people bringing communion to the sick. And I pulled them into like a huddle. And I'll tell you what I told them. It is so serious. It's such a beautiful ministry, especially if you're the priest, whose responsibility is to feed the spiritually hungry of the parish. For those people after Mass at the 7:30 at night to go to the nursing homes and go to the hospital and go to the homebound. That's huge. That's what we're called to do. That's our religion. It's not just belief. It's not just when we go to church on Sunday. Got to go to church on Sunday. But the overflow of God's love puts us in partnership with those who are not here, those who are sick, those who couldn't make it. Your loved ones, my loved ones who don't worship. We're still in partnership with them. Maybe not full communion, but we're in partnership with them. We should be cultivating a relationship with them. I can't tell you how many times, again, not being married and having children, the children of parents of disappointment, the grandchildren that are not baptized, the relatives that don't worship. We're in the holiday season. Leave the badgering of people regarding religion to the professionals. Just love your family members. You got a brother or sister or mother or father or husband or wife who's been away from the faith. Next time you see them, you give them a big hug, kiss them, and tell them you love them. Leave religion out of it for now. I tell it to people who visit once in a while. They're like, more likely in a confession scene if they don't know me. They're like, are you serious? Obviously you don't know me. I'm very serious. What, isn't it my job to evangelize everybody? No, it's not your job. It's your job to love everybody. You're in partnership with them, not in full communion. Because you know how this works. You know the psychology of this. Your daughter is dating some guy you don't like. Tell her not to date him. See what happens. Thank you. See what happens. Try it. Don't try that. No, you gotta be like Fonzie. Gotta be cool. Hey, Susie, cream cheese. Your boyfriend, yeah, he's kind of interesting, yeah. I mean, seriously. People are rebellious. So are we, which leads me to my third point. Partnership, the path, the gospel. The holy deacon read, no, wrong gospel. The deacon read, prepare the way of the Lord. Make straight the paths before him. You've heard this. This is Old Testament prophecy. It was fulfilled by who? John the Baptist, who came out of the desert crying out, he's coming. When I say terrible, it's not meant like terrible. The word is a trendium in Latin. The great and terrible day is coming. Make straight the way for the Lord. Before you talk about anybody else or talk to anybody else, let's make our own paths straight. It's like the airplane when the oxygen, heaven forbid, when the oxygen mask drops, right, Denise? You put on your own oxygen mask first. Look at your own spiritual life first. Let me be the first one publicly on the second Sunday at Advent to call myself out for being a sinner and a scammer and a hypocrite. Can I do that? You see how quiet it got? Because I grew up with nuns. This is called Tuesday in a Catholic school. And it worked. Because we were skinners. No, we were sinners. And in grammar school, we were scammers. Sister was right. I still meet these guys all over the place. Those nuns. Shut up. You know anybody in prison who has a story like that? Hey, cellmate 7, those nuns. You know why no guy in prison is telling you a story about nuns beating them? Because it worked. They're not in the slammer. But it's funny, it's true. You hear this all the time. And I know there were a couple bad nuns. Maybe. I'm not even going to say that. I don't know of one bad nun. I know of a couple aggressive ones. But I'm being very honest and sincere. As the youngest of 5 boys and as a scammer, I got everything I had coming to me. And I got away with stuff. So call yourself out during Advent. I don't know what it is about confessions. I can't wait to get to 20 years of hearing confessions. I've heard a lot of good confessions. I heard a lot of mediocre confessions. People don't want to examine themselves in the light of Christ. They don't mind rough sails. They don't mind dramatic lives. They don't mind chaotic relationships. I had them. I don't want them. Why do people live in that? Call yourself out. Our attitudes. You hear a lot about racism. It's true. And sexism. It's true. Anti-Semitism. It's true. How about the discrimination against religious people? How about the discrimination against us? If I believe in natural law marriage, I'm the outsider now? I'm not allowed in your club? I believe marriage between a man and a woman. I'm the bad guy now? Can I love people and still believe in God made a man for a woman, is that possible anymore or no? Or am I kicked out? You're going to throw me out? I can't do both. I can't love all people. Everybody can't be a priest. Everybody can't get pregnant. This is the biology of the world and the design of God. So, what about that discrimination? And by the way, when it comes to racism, I was just in Poland. The patroness of Poland is a black Madonna. She's black. If you're Polish, the patroness of Poland is Our Lady of Czestochowa. How did she get black, Father? That's soot from the candles. And hiding her in times of war. They would bury her and put her up. It was their great painting. It was 1,000 years old. So I find it extraordinarily ridiculous if somebody wants to call me a racist when the woman I cherish most is colored and she's black. How about that? But call yourself out. Don't settle for the status quo. I don't want to be like everybody else. I want to be like God made me to be, one of his chosen ones. How much lack of gratitude do we have? You know, when it got really cold, as it is now, is there a fleeting thought about the homeless? Is there just a fleeting thought? There are people walking around right now in McHenry County with no shelter, looking for somewhere to duck into just to get some warmth. How much gratitude do I exert or do I exhibit? The psalm, joy, we sing out with joy for the Lord. Yeah, let's sing out for joy. Let's be grateful. Let's thank God that we got what we got. Thank goodness the Lord, Monsignor, I just talked to him, he gave me this great line. I knew it a long time ago. Thank goodness the Lord doesn't give me what I deserve. Thank goodness. I want his mercy. So let's conclude this. Your favorite line in the homily. Let's create an inner path. And it's all, look, let me sum this up for you. Every homily I'll ever give the rest of my life. It's all about the interior life. It's all about casting out the false, selfish me and letting in the presence of Christ. As Father Evans, our awesome new pastor, said when he first got here, I must decrease so that he can increase. For those choosing spouses who are in that age range, what does it matter? You could be older and choose a spouse, I don't know. If your future friend, your future to-be spouse is superficial, they're less spiritual. If your future spouse is real spiritual, they're less superficial. It's an inverse correlation. There's only one way in this universe that I know how to have some effect on controlling God. You heard me. Control God, Father? Now that's too far. I'll tell you how. In the law of the spirit life says, if I empty myself properly, detach myself from sensual pleasures and false earthly trophies, he will fill me. Make straight the path. Make straight the way of the Lord. The truth about Jesus Christ is not a myth. And this truth, which is Jesus Christ, will set us free from the bondage of self and the slavery of sin. You and I, together, as partners in Christ, children of the same Father. We have the same Father. Black, white, whatever, man, woman, whatever, if there's gender issues, we all got the same Father. We're all called to the same holiness. We're all called to self-control and controlling our appetites. We're all called to self-mastery and living out virtue. That doesn't change. That's never going to change. That's always going to be the law of the Spirit. As partners of Christ, our joy will increase. Our joy will increase. And our peace will hopefully draw others along this pathway. And this pathway leads straight. Straight. It's a superhighway through Holy Communion, straight to heaven.